Yesterday, the 17th of May, marked International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia. The day is dedicated to raise awareness about issues of discrimination directed towards the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex persons globally. An organization called Queer Quantity had earmarked the 17th of May as the day to host the big queer election debate. The event served as a platform for political parties, including the ANC, the DA, the EFF, the UDM, Rise Mzansi and others, to showcase their commitment to the LGBTQI+ community. With panelists comprising queer leaders from each participating political party, the debate was aimed at scrutinizing and evaluating each party's stance, policies and actions concerning LGBTQI rights and inclusion. Queer Quantity also launched the report of the preliminary results for the LGBTQI election poll. And joining us now in studio is the founder of Queer Quantity and LGBTQI activist, Mpho Buntse. Mpho, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me.
Now, before we get to what came out of the debate yesterday, let's unpack the report on the election poll. What were the key findings?
Thank you. So, first and foremost, I think it's important to note that there is a very high level of, active partisanship amongst the LGBTQ community, with about 86% of those that were sampled indicating that they are registered to vote. But over and above that, there's an indication that they are proactively thinking about, some key issues that they believe would be relevant going into these elections. Okay. But over and above that, we are seeing quite, a different stance in terms of how the LGBTQ votes. Yeah. But generally, this study is congruent with the history of how the LGBTQ has been supporting the African National Congress over the last 30 years. But we are seeing quite, some minor shift in terms of how the LGBTQ sees opposition. There's about 25.5% of them that entrust the EFF as an official opposition party and downgrading the Democratic Alliance to the third position. But we're seeing that the ANC is still in the front running with about 41.8% LGBTQ entrusting them in the upcoming elections. Okay,
let's now talk about how the political parties present at the debate responded to how they will ensure a measure of access and, of course, protection for the LGBTQI community rights in terms of those who are verified as a marginalized group.
Look, everyone, by everyone I mean the Democratic Alliance, Patriotic Alliance, Rise Mzansi, as well as, the United Democratic Movement. They all believe that the Constitution is the foundation by which each and every one of us needs to, look at when it comes to protecting the rights of LGBTQ people. Yes. And all of them believe that they are guided by this very same Constitution. So for them to come into power, they believe that they will use the Constitution as a guiding force. But over and above that, parties believe that the ruling party hasn't, been active over the last 30 years in ensuring that the LGBTQ is protected enough. It could have been nice to have the African National Congress at the debate yesterday. It was disappointing that they did not pull through so that they would defend their position. However, over and above that, we believe that most of the points that were raised by political parties yesterday are pertinent issues that speak to our issues as the LGBTQ. When you speak of the recently approved hate crimes and hate speech bill, when you speak of the National Health Insurance Bill, these are two important legislative papers that go beyond just protecting everyone in the country, but they speak to protecting the LGBTQ. Think of trans individuals that still find it difficult to access trans-affirming health care. As I speak to you, there's only 3 hospitals in the country, one in Pretoria, one in Soweto, and one in Cape Town that are offering trans-affirming health care. This is not enough, and I think most political parties raised this yesterday.
And considering that South Africa has incredibly progressive legislation related to the human rights for the LGBTQI+ community, but what's your observation in terms of activism and political participation since 1994?
Look, I think it's important when we analyze movements across the South African society. The LGBTQ movement comes in front as one of the most strongest in terms of organizing.
Yeah.
For the most part, we have been fighting our struggle independent of government, independent of civil society. And I think this is even clear in the study, with about 86% of those that were surveyed indicating that they are proactive in terms of ensuring that they want to protect their rights.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, about 58% of them have indicated that they are voting because they want to protect LGBTQ rights. There has been quite a lot of talks around the fact that should a conservative party come in, many of the gains that have been achieved for the LGBTQ might be reversed.
All right, Mpho, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.